Alright, so far we've gone over PowerShell overview and variables, and now I will be mainly going over operators and commenting. So here's a quick overview of what I'll be covering. I'm going to be going over commenting in code, what is an operator, arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logic operators, array operators, and then as well as some exercises. So first I want to cover comments. Comments are very important in any programming language. Comments are used to describe and explain your code. And so comments are not going to be compiled, so the computer will pretty much skip over them because they're only for the reader. So here's an example. So we have comment lines and then comment blocks. So as you can see here, there's a example. We've got a comment block at the top, which is going to comment out anything you put in between these the pound signs with the greater than and less than signs. And then down here, you've got just a comment line. So you've just got the pound sign, and then anything on that single line will be commented out after that. All right, I'm now in PowerShell ISE, and I'm going to show you how to do comments. So first, I'll show you how to do a line comment, and then a comment block. So we're going to put the pound sign, and we'll put written by Chris Zollner. So I've got my name at the top. All right, so this is a comment line, and now I'm going to show you a comment block. So I'm going to create that. So this is the comment block. So anything in between these two sections will be commented out. You can put anything in here. So for this class though, we'll usually put, let's say, author at the top. So I'll put my name and then the date. So we've got 9/20/2022. And then the title of the code. So example of comments. And then maybe a short description. This code is an example. Alright, so again, just to recap, this up here is a comment line, and this is a comment block. Alright, so now we can get into the operators. Operators really allow you to change data, manipulate data, or interact with the user and computer. So again, we've got a lot of operators to get into, so I'll go and dive right into that. The first type of operators I'll talk about is arithmetic operators. So these are used just for mathematical operations. These are all the operators you learned back in elementary school, except for one additional one that will be a little tricky at first, but I'll make sure to discuss and go into detail about. So there will be 5 arithmetic operators that we use in this class. We've got addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and then the last one you see there, which is the percent sign, actually stands for modulus. So the modulus operator. Now, I'm sure everyone already knows the first 4, but the last one, the modulus operator, is going to return the remainder of a division problem. So for example, let's pretend we're back in 2nd grade and doing 9 divided by 2. So 2 goes into 9 4 times and has 1 left over. So you'd have a remainder of 1. So if you did 9 modulus 2, the answer would be 1, which is the remainder. So again, 9 and then the percent sign, or modulus, 2, will give you the answer 1. Now, you'll use modulus quite a bit in this class. It's very useful if you want to determine if a number is even or odd. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off with some simple arithmetic operators. So let's do 2 plus 4. Percenter, yep, we get 6. Okay, 3 minus 5. Alright, negative 2. Let's do 3 times 2. Yep, 6. Let's do 20 divided by 5, 4. Okay. So notice I put spaces there. It doesn't really matter. You can do it without spaces. You can even put a bunch of spaces. It'll still work. So now let's go over modulus. So here's the example that I used before, 9 mod 2. So this is going to give us 1. Okay, so that's the remainder. So let's do another one, 22 mod 3. Alright, so 22 divided by 3 is 7 with a remainder of 1. So 7 times 3 is 21, and then you've got the 1 remainder, so it's going to give us 1. Alright, so let's do 4 mod 2. So 2 is going to go into 4 twice, and there's going to be a remainder of 0. So again here, modulus just giving us the remainder. So hopefully guys you understand how modulus works. So something to keep in mind when doing arithmetic operators is the order of operations. So remember PEMDAS. PowerShell follows this rule. So in our example down here, it's going to first check for parentheses, which there are none, and then exponents, again there are none, and then multiplication, division, or modulus. So we've got division here, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, and it's going to go from left to right. So 2 minus 2 is 0, plus 2 is equal to 2. So in our second example, again, it's going to look for parentheses, so we've got 2 plus 2 is 4 here, and so it's going to go 4 divided by 4 is 1, and then so we've got 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Alright, so here's a handy shortcut you can do in PowerShell. So at the top here, we've got myvar is set equal to 3, and then we're doing myvar equals myvar plus 2. So what this is going to do is it's going to reassign myvar to be 3 plus 2. So you see this will be equal to 5. Now we've got myvar plus equals 3, so that will be 5, and then again it's going to reset it, now it should be 8. So now we've got myvar plus plus. So plus plus is basically adding 1 to the variable. So here again we're displaying it, so it should come out to 9. Alright, so now what I want you to do is go ahead and open up PowerShell and go ahead and program these into there and do a little bit of practice here. So pause the video, look at these, put it into PowerShell, and then I will go over it. Alright, so here I've got this problem set up. So I've got x equals to 3, y is equal to 4, and z is equal to 5. So down here, we're going to make sure we're doing this with PEMDAS. So we've got y times z, so that's going to be 20. And then the next thing we're going to see is over here, the modulus. So that's going to be 3 divided by 4. So how many times does 4 go into 3? Well, it goes into it 0 times, so it's going to have a remainder of 3. So we've got 20 plus x, so 23, and then minus 3. So 23 minus 3 should come out to 20. Next, I'm going to talk about comparison operators. Comparison operators are used to compare two different values or two different variables. So comparison operators provide the logic to make a decision. So for example, they'll check if something is equal to, less than, or greater than something. With comparison operators, they're always going to give you or return a Boolean value. So for example, is 4 equal to 5? No, so it will return false. Another example could be, is 5 greater than 4? Yes, so it will return true. Alright, so let's go ahead and practice with the comparison operators. So first I'll use a number, let's say 2. I'm going to do dash EQ 3. So now we're not assigning anything here, we're asking a question. Is 2 equal to 3? Well, obviously no, so it will return false. Alright, so let's do 3 less than 2. Okay, so again, 3 is not going to be less than 2, so it should return false. Alright, let's go ahead and do 3 greater than 2. Okay, well, obviously 3 is greater than 2, so it should return true. Alright, now there's also less than equal to and greater than equal to. So let's do 2 less than equal to 4. All right, well, 2, is it less than or equal to 4? Yes, so true. Let's do 5 greater than equal to 5. Is 5 greater than or equal to 5? Yes, it's equal to 5, so it will return true. And there's also not equal to, so is 4 not equal to 4? Well, 4 is equal to 4, so it's going to return false. So we can do 3 not equal to 5. So is 3 not equal to 5? We're going to get true. Next, I'll discuss logical operators. Don't get these confused now. Comparison operators, you're comparing two different values. Logical operators are used when you're trying to connect two conditional statements. So for example, if you're using dash and, you're comparing a conditional statement on the left-hand side and a conditional statement on the right-hand side. So again, it's comparing the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So this is true for and, or, and exclusive or. However, when you're using not, that is going to be at the beginning, and you're just doing one statement right after that statement. So if you put not in front of a statement that is true, it would change it to be false, and vice versa. If the statement is false, it would change it to be true. So with the and logical operator, this will return true when both statements are true, but it will return false if either of them are false. So now for the or operator, it returns true if either of the statements are true. Only one of them has to be true, or they can both be true. Now exclusive or XOR, will return true if one and only one statement is true, not both. If they're both true, it will return false. Alright, so now let's go over some examples of logical operators. First here we're going to do true and false. Alright, so we've got true on the left side, it's comparing it to and false on the right side. So we've got a true condition on the left, a false condition on the right. So this will return false because they're not both true. Alright, so now if we go true and true, we've got true. Alright, so let's do this with some numbers, make it a little bit more practical. So I'm going to go and use some parentheses here. Let's do 3 greater than 2. And then let's do 4 is equal to 4. Alright, so on the left here we've got is 3 greater than 2? Yes. And then is 4 equal to 4? Yes. So it should return true. Alright, so now let's do this with or. Alright, so we've got on the left here again is 3 greater than 2, or is 4 equal to 4? Well, it's only going to read the first one because it's true, so then it'll print out true. So again, only one of them needs to be true. Alright, so I can change this. See, we've got now is 3 greater than 2, yes, or is 4 equal to 5? So this one's no, this one's yes, so it'll print out true still. Alright, so now if we change these to both be false, is 3 greater than 5, or is 4 equal to 5? No, neither are true, so it prints out false. Okay. So now let's try this with XOR. So again, this is exclusive OR. So is 3 greater than 2? Yes. XOR is 4 equal to 5? No. So only one of these is right, so it will print out true. So now when we go back, and they're both correct, let's put XOR. So now both of these are true. 3 is greater than 2, and 4 is equal to 4. So this is going to give us false because they're both right. XOR is looking for only one of them to be true. Alright, so now the last one I'm going to go over is the not. So we've got, let's see, so we have, let's do 4 is equal to 4. So that's going to be true. So if we put not in front of this, 4 equal to 4. So this is going to return false now, because 4 is equal to 4 and it's looking for it to not be true. So we change this 4 equal to 5. Is 4 not equal to 5? Basically is what it's saying, so it's going to say true. Alright, so now I'm going to go over array operators, specifically on indexing with arrays. So index and arrays are the position of something in an array. So let's say we want to pull out something from an array in a position, we use the position or the index of the array. So in arrays, the first character of the item in the array is actually index position 0. So for example here, let's say we've got my array, and we've got 1 through 5 in it. Position 0 is actually going to be the first one here, which is 1. And as we go on, position index 1 is 2, 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5. So let's go all the way up. So if you've got an array of 1 through 10, the last one, like for example down here, index 9 is going to be 10. So here's a good example of how it would look in PowerShell. We've got my array 1 through 10. Again here, my array index 9, it's going to show 10. So the length of this is 10, and the index of 9 is the last one in this here, so 10. So just again, remember that the first character in an array is index 0. Alright, so there's more array operators. So we already went over the index, so now we've got add or append is another word for this. So in order to add something to the end of the array, you'd first name your array here as to what you've already got, and then plus equals, and then whatever you want the new word to be. So this will go at the end of it. And then we sort of covered this earlier, but in order to create a blank array, again here you've got $array equals at, and then the open and close parenthesis. And then we have the length operator here. So if you want to see the length of an array, you would do the name of the array, so $array, and then .length. And lastly here, we've got the reverse. So here you do the open square bracket array, close square bracket, and you've got 2 colons here, and then reverse, and then whatever your variables in there are, so numbers here for instance. So this is going to return the characters in an array in the reverse order. So up here you can see an example of how it would look in PowerShell. If we've got my array, and we've got 1 through 10 in it, and then we do the reverse of my array, it will show us. So first we're displaying it there, and then we've got the reverse of it, so it's going to go 10 back down to 1. Alright, so now let's go over a little bit of practice here with the array operators. So I recommend opening PowerShell, go ahead and trying these for yourself, maybe pausing the video, and then coming back to watch me go over them. So first here we've got our array named prime numbers 2, 3, 5. And it's going to display those prime numbers. So again here it's going to be 2, 3, and then 5. So now here we're indexing prime numbers with 0. So that's going to return the first item in the array, so it will be 2. So here we've got prime numbers and the index of 2. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2. So that will return 5. Now here we've got prime numbers plus equals 7. And then we're printing out the prime numbers array again. So what this is going to do is it's going to add 7 to the end of it. So then it will be 2, 3, 5, 7. Alright, so let's try some exercises here. So I recommend you pause the video again, and then go ahead and try to do these on your own, and then come back and see how I go over them. Alright, so first we've got our array here that we're setting to include 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're displaying the array, so the expected output should just be 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 on different lines. And so now we're doing the same array, and we're looking for the index of 3. So again, it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, so the output should be 6. Again here now, we're looking at the index of 0, so the expected output should be the first character here, which is 1. And at the last one here, we've got our array. We're adding 10 to it, so what is the expected output? It would just be adding 10 to the end of the array here. Alright, so here's two more exercises I want you guys to go and try to attempt. The first one here is create two variables and multiply them together to create a third variable using the greater than or less than operators, and then compare the new variable to the old variables. And the second one is write one line of code that returns true if variable is even and false if variable is odd. You've got your hint here to use the modulus operator, and then keep changing the value of variable to test your one-liner. And then here's 6 more exercises that you guys can go and attempt, and then hopefully you guys can get those done. Alright, so that sort of wraps up what we went over today. So again, we went over what is an operator, we went over the arithmetic operators, the comparison operators, the logic operators, and the array operators. We went over and did some exercises, and we also did some commenting in code. Again, you don't want to forget your commenting in code. That'll be on the practical to make sure you have your commenting in there, and it's just good practice to use as you go on coding